Hello, everyone. It's Kim. I wanted to come in specifically to speak about my process of how I do my work. Some individuals in the Be the Medicine group were asking about this, and I thought it was a really, really great question. A lot of people have asked me for years about that. Like, how do you read into what's really going on in someone's body? How do you know the exact words that are going through my mind that I didn't even know, that I couldn't have even spoken? Or how do you let yourself have that awareness of exactly what someone needs to unwind symptoms or the whatever's plaguing them in their life, of why do I never find great relationships, or why I'm not making any money, and I can really dial into what's going on in their system. So hello to everybody who's here live. So I wanted to share about this, and I thought, let me share it with the whole community, because I think it's really insightful. Not only that it has to do with me, it's about how we can begin to operate more from awareness and less from the mind. Because everyone knows, even a physician, if I studied every medical book ever created in history, I still wouldn't be able to know what I'm able to know and do what I'm able to do. You just wouldn't in 10 lifetimes be able to learn that. But you can begin when you show up fully to the moment to let awareness in. And this is really what conscious medicine is. It's like I will show up so fully to what's happening here now within me that I can presence the moment and have the awareness of what's required within you. But unless I'm actually really meeting my deeper self, what am I actually feeling right now? What am I actually carrying right now? What's going on in my body and my system? Unless I really show up with that sensitivity and that depth of presence, I can't know anything, right? And then I'm just like a talking head. Well, here's what you do for thyroid disease, or here's what you do for, fill in the blank, MS. And then it's this prescriptive thing. And that's really, really limited and doesn't actually help anybody resolve illness. So in brief, when I'm, present in my body, feeling and sensing my body, letting awareness in, it is a shift from ordinary consciousness to enhanced consciousness. So most of the people who've tuned into the work I've done are highly sensitive, are empathic, but we've experienced it more as a problem than as a gift. So if you could begin to let yourself feel everything you feel and welcome it, it's no longer, there's no resistance. What you resist persists. So if there's no resistance, it's no longer a problem. So if you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so empathic, I feel everything, but I pick up on everyone else's energy, or I take on other people's negativity, that's what I'm talking about here. It's oh, this is like a curse. But if I'm actually willing to receive all things in grace and ease, there's no resistance, and that energy can move through. And I'm not saying this is so easy. This has taken decades and decades to cultivate. And even if you just spend this year or this week to cultivate 2% more willingness to be with what is as it is, right? Even if this thing is happening, or even if I'm feeling this, or even if these are the thoughts going through my mind, oh, what am I actually feeling? What does it feel like? Is there pressure in my chest? Is there a heaviness? Is there tension in my shoulders? Do I have any breath coming into the pelvis, or is it all shallow breath up here, right? Just letting in a little awareness. Practice right now, and maybe over this next week, tuning in. What am I sensing right here, right now? And just for 10 breaths, let it be as it is. Your awareness will actually let the energy transmute. So you can just be in the space of, even if it feels awful, even if it's just, what if I would just breathe into it? You'll feel the energy shift, but you'll be aware of way, way more than just that surface awareness. Okay? So that might sound like it has nothing to do with practicing medicine, helping people heal, etc., creating more wealth in my life. It has everything to do with it. Because how can I know What will contribute to my children right now? What will generate more money and wealth in my life right now? What will help my body be healthier right now? If I can't know feeling and sensing right now, how much breath is coming into my pelvis? How much vitality is in my digestion? Could be anything, but just awareness. And then take 10 breaths. Or even something as simple as, how much joy am I feeling on a scale of 1 to 10? And you may be like, I'm a 2. This sucks. I feel contracted. I feel awful. Okay. Let me breathe 10 breaths to feel that 2. No judgment, no agenda. I'm just going to breathe in, breathe out, and look. So all I'm doing is awareness, but it's in the now, right? Because the body only lives in the now. It can't live in the future. It can't live in the past. It can't live outside you. It can only live in the now. So this is my process, okay? We'll tune into my body, let awareness in, and then I'm always, I could say in some way, asking questions, but I'm tuning into a higher consciousness. Like if I'm with a client, what's the highest possibility for this person right now? Or how does she need to hear this to have the greatest impact? Or where is she really ready to go that would unwind all these things she's experiencing in her life? Or where does the greatest density lie that if we resolve that would open all these other places of what she's got going on? So someone may have like, I have Lyme disease, I have MS, I have digestive problems and intolerance, food intolerance, I have headaches, and it seems like 10 different things. But if I can begin to tune into what's the one thing that if we resolve that piece allows all of this to begin to unwind, then I can let that awareness in. If I'm asking, oh no, what's wrong? I gotta fix this, I'm gonna get a different awareness. So obviously, I've anchored a lot more awareness through my body. I'm not even perfect at this, but it's like made a huge difference in my life and certainly in my work. So if I've anchored a lot more awareness in my body, I can let myself access that kind of awareness, even if someone's on the other side of the world. So my process, feel and sense in my body, breathe in, presence the moment, right? And the body only lives in the moment, and then tune into that higher consciousness. Like I shared just now, maybe asking a question that will key me onto that channel. And then there's the component of letting go. We have this beautiful little bug flying around here. The component of letting go is like non-attachment. So if I'm like, oh, I hope this person gets it, that's not going to work for anybody. So I let go, and it's like whatever happens, happens. You like what I did, you don't like what I did. I'm here to serve your highest expansion. Your highest expansion may be, we do the session and you're like, I'm so dissatisfied. And then like the next day you're like, oh my God, wow, I saw the beast coming up in me, and where I started to buy into my own victim story. So I don't have any attachment to like how it happens, when it happens, that it has to be, you feel better in the session. I will say universally, people pretty much always feel lighter and feel a whole completion when we're doing a session together, or when we're in the Embracing Health and we do a one-on-one in the group, that they'll feel like, all right, there's a completion. I'm at a good completion point. Thank you. This was amazing. That they're receiving the wholeness of it, even if it's 4 minutes, 5 minutes of one-on-one in that group call. But I'm not attached to it happening that way. So allowing what happens to happen. That the other part of that is, I'm not in my mind of the small self. It's not Kim who's talking and, do you like me? Do you love me? Am I doing a good job? Am I adequate? Am I a good person? Because that's going to anchor me in the small self who doesn't know, can't know, and bring my awareness away from the true self. The true self, the higher self, whatever. We're an infinite being having a physical experience. The infinite self, will have lots to say that I may not even understand. Oh my God, why am I saying this? Well, they think it's weird. And if I'm in the small self, I'll never say those things. And I learned this when I first started making videos like 10 years ago. And I would get in front of the video, and I hired this guy to help do the videos. And I'm like, I have all this, really amazing message, and we're going to do this. And it was like 3 words coming out at a time, because it was so disconnected and disjointed. And oh my God, no, I didn't say it right. Oh God, what will they think of me? Oh no, will they even understand that I couldn't get a full sentence out? And I thought, I don't know how I thought that this guy's like so good at editing, he's gonna like take those choppies out and splice it all together, and it will make a coherent message. Like he was gonna do the work for me. And it didn't work that way at all. And so I had to learn, get my attention off me, the small self, and put my attention on the others, because that brought me into love. So if someone asks me any question that people ask every day in the mind-body community or in the work I'm doing, I immediately go into my heart. Oh, compassion. Wow, it's a great question. I know what it's like to be in that space. And I immediately go into love. Well, when we're in love, we let the higher consciousness through. That's why it's so much easier to let something flow. Like if you're on the phone with your best friend and you're like, let me tell you a story, you could do it. But if you hit record on a video and you're like, who knows who's going to watch it? Who am I saying this to? They're going to judge me. They won't like me. In the first instance, you're loved. This is your best friend. It comes fluidly. In the second instance, you're judged. So I had to take that judge off the behind the camera and put in like my favorite client who loved me and who effortlessly received what I was sharing, and speak to her. So I still do that on some level. I speak directly to the one who's receptive, who wants to, who appreciates, has love for this work and this awakening. Not about me, but about I'm committed. I want the insight. And then it's effortless. I can let it flow through. But if I put someone in there and I think, oh, they won't understand, it's like it mucks it all up. The other thing I do is I tune into the consciousness of that person or that group. Meaning, when I make a video here, like we're in Instagram or in the mind body community, it's a different group I'm speaking to than when I'm in the Embracing Health group, right? These are people who've invested themselves to work with me for a year, who are like committing to view the videos and come to the group calls, and they're open in a different way. And so how they hear it, how they can hear it is different. It's much deeper and much more intimate. And when I'm in a general group, it's, you'll hear a little more subtlety of, how do I explain it? Explaining things that maybe in the other group, like we're just taking it for granted that you already get this. So I can tune into what's the collective of this group, how do they need to hear it, what are the questions, like I'll even hear the questions coming up from the people who are gonna watch the video that haven't even watched it yet. And then I can look, oh, and if you're thinking blah, 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 and I'll address that question. So we all have the ability to do this. It's easy. It's so easy for me. It's like even sometimes it's challenging to explain what is my process, but I can tune into this awareness because of presence and because of receptivity, right? We got to be receptive in our system to let the awareness in. And if we're like, I don't want to feel what I feel, it's all too much, let me keep medicating, we're not actually in the same level of receptivity. There's a lot of judgment. So there isn't a very specific structure for how I do this. Is another part of how I do my method. I will feel into what is the pain, meaning where is this person residing that's no longer tolerable, right? Well, I'm marching along with my life, and now my illness is so bad I can't work anymore, or I can't even get out of bed, my marriage is falling apart, or oh, I'm so ridden with guilt, this and that is happening with my kids. I have to find like what is their greatest pain point, because that's where we're really going to move the energy. That's what's coming up. And sometimes I'll dig down and what else is there? What else is there? What else is there? And I remember operating as a regular medical doctor. That's like the last thing you want to do. Let me just give you free reign to tell me everything. It's like, no, we have 15 minutes. Just answer the question I'm asking. I'm going to check the box. It's the opposite of that. So what often happens is someone will tell me everything, quote unquote, and then I'll feel into their system, and it's like, I just don't feel like we've hit on the the nugget of the nugget of the nugget. So I'll ask more questions, or I'll say, is there anything else? And maybe something else comes out, and I'll say, is there anything else? And maybe something else. And then there's a point where I'll say, is there anything else? And they'll say something like, oh, well, I mean, I don't know if this has anything to do with anything, but, and then they'll spill this big, profound nugget of like, ding, 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 ding. And when you're tuned into yourself, you'll hear it, you'll feel it, it'll be like, oh my God, this is the thing. So as a practitioner, if you don't get to that, be willing to keep asking, is there anything else? Or even get curious about like, how's your relationship? How's your sexuality? What's going on with your kids? Or whatever it might be, you might have an inkling. So drill down. And then it's like, ding, ding, ding. Okay. And then it's like, we can start. So I always wait for that ding, 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 ding. Because until we get to the nugget of the nugget, what are we doing, right? We're just moving around the stuff. So that's a big part of my process as well. And for those of you who've been in the course, either in the Embracing Health or the Be the Medicine, if you watch the interactions, you'll probably see how like that's what I'm doing. So that's like the first part is drill down. And then the second part is, how receptive is this person to receiving something new? Because you've got to tread lightly. You can't give someone something they're not willing to receive. I learned this so early on in my osteopathic practice. You know, the ER people come in and you're like, all right, you are here to get better. I'm just going to assume you want me to do what it takes for you to get better. But when it came to energy or chronic pain or chronic illness, I could not assume that. And I learned kind of the hard way, when you try to take someone's pain away and they're not ready, do not mess around with that. You have to let someone complete with what they have before you ask them to relinquish that, before you ask them to release it. And even if someone's paid me $12,000, I can't make that assumption. I've got to look. And if they're not really there, what needs to happen for me to bring them there, for me to assist them in getting there? And sometimes that could be like the half of the session or the first few minutes, and then we can get to the next thing. So that's also a really important part, is where is this person? What are they ready to receive? What are they willing to receive? And then the work is just super intuitive from there. It's constantly guided. I love it. This is what I needed, and I learned to do it for me to heal. Oh, be with binoculars. I wish this was the common practice. I love it. Yeah, in the future of medicine, in conscious medicine, this will be how doctors operate. Because I cannot be aware of what needs to happen in your body until I'm fully present enough to the enough depth within my own. Yes, Anne Atkinson Art. This is the same for anxiety, 100%. So for those of you who do want to move forward in the process with me, we've opened the Embracing Health group where I work with individuals live. You'll have one-on-one interaction with me in the group calls monthly over the course of the year. So we do the calls each month and kind of go from there. It's really profound and awakening. And the link is at drkimd.com/health. If you're viewing this video, because we'll post this to YouTube as well, like sometime in the future, we will run this again in the future. But all the work I do is kind of at that consciousness, at helping you get to that level of presence within yourself, because it's your awareness that is healing. It's your awareness that is the medicine, not the pill, not the outside thing. And no matter how I might go searching around in the outside world for the magic pill, until I meet the depth of my own pain, I can't let it transmute. And so that practitioner can't show up, or that pill can't show up, or that magic technique can't show up. But when we meet ourselves, everything can happen. So lots of love to you. I'm at drkimd.com. I hope that has assisted. And, I keep the structure of my process really, really simple. I'm connected within me. I'm breathing in my body. I'm sensing and letting awareness, asking questions. And then I sense into their realm, their body, their energy, their mind, their whole universe of who they are. And we look together. And I have seen it's unthinkable what's possible. People have healed from MS, chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia, thyroid disease, irritable bowel, inflammatory bowel disease, cancer. Like there really isn't anything that isn't affected by our consciousness. So your body is listening. Your cells are listening so much more deeply than you might imagine. So practice this within yourself, presencing yourself more fully with more willingness to feel what you feel and sense what you sense, and you will begin to know what you know. All right, lots of love, everyone. The Embracing Health group starts on Thursday. So it would actually have to register by Wednesday, but the group is at drkimd.com/health. And this will be a really powerful collaboration of individuals who are starting to really awakening. Like, I don't really know what you're talking about, but I know this is a fit for me in some way. Or you're like, wow, I totally get it, and I'm ready to say yes and live this in a bigger way and be more conscious. That's what we're doing here. So you're invited. It will be an incredible group, and thank you guys for being here. Lots of love. I will see you soon.